And when I looked at that jar of olives, I lost it. I collapsed onto the floor, my checkerboard white and black floor in the kitchen, and it was dirty, and I lay there not breathing. Basically, I was just being in that moment. And I was laying on the floor in the dust and in the dirt, and I could not see a light at the end of the tunnel. And I was just in it. And I thought, okay, there's no light, so I have to make a light. I have to create one to go towards. So in that moment, I decided, I'm gonna move to Italy. What a light, right? I didn't know how I was gonna get there. I didn't know what I was gonna do when I got there. I didn't even know what I was even saying at the time. I just knew that was my light at the end of the tunnel. Moving to Italy. So I stood up off the floor, and the next day I went and I told every person I knew, guess what? I'm moving to Italy. And they're like, what? I think you were just crying like minutes ago. Yeah, but I'm gonna move to Italy. And I don't know how, I don't know when, maybe a year from now, I'm gonna move to Italy. And I told every person. And that's one thing I will tell you, if you're gonna take a leap of faith, tell everybody you know what your plans are. Number one, because you can't back out. Number two, people love to help. People love to help. So you'll have angels who will conspire to help you along your path. And the other thing is, people are gonna ask you about it repeatedly, all the time. Hey, how's it going? When are you going to Italy? So it's a constant reminder about, okay, what am I doing? Where am I at? Oh, okay, I gotta keep going. These people are gonna ask me about it. So it was about a year that I took to plan my trip. And in reality, it was probably about a month before I ended up leaving that all of the plans came into fruition, right? It usually takes a short amount of time to actually take the leap or take the step. But it was a long time of planning. And I got to this point where I was gonna have to take that leap. And I remember thinking in my head, oh my God, I'm the one that has to take this leap. Not anyone else. It was sort of like along the way I was going through it and I was going, oh yeah, this will be fun. Oh, maybe I could do this and maybe I could do that. But then, like, there was a moment, you know, at the airport, I remember looking back at my mom, and she's on the other side of the security ropes, right? And I'm walking towards the security line and I'm going, shit, I'm the one that has to do this, right? Have you guys ever felt that? Like, oh no, now it's my turn. I have to leave my comfort zone. I have to leave my support system, leave everything behind, and I'm the one that actually has to leave and go do this? It's like, oh crap. So here's where fear comes in, right? I was so afraid in that moment of actually leaving, walking through the door, right? Walking through the security line. And I was like, oh, I gotta do it. And fear is a B word. Not that B word. Fear is a brick wall. Because you can't see around it, right? And it's in your way, and you're like, oh my God, it's scary. And the thing about fear is that it's in the future. It's all around, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? Right? Or regret. Why did I leave in the past, right? Well, you can turn around and you can go back. Your life is still there. That's just a new direction, right? But to move forward, you have to be in your moment. So there are two things I want to say about conquering that fear. One is being mindful and meditation. Mindfulness is about being in the moment, right? It's not about looking ahead. It's not about what happened behind you. It's about being here right now and looking around and going, okay, yeah, I'm in an airport and I'm okay. I'm alive, I've got my bag, no one's harming me, I'm okay, right? And I can get through this, and I can take one step forward. And that's what being mindful is. When I was on my trip, I actually read the best book I could have read for that period of time, and I thank the person who recommended it to me. The Power of Now. The Power of Now is all about being in the moment and knowing that what you're doing where you are, looking around you, you're okay. And not fearing the future or regretting the past. And meditation is really important. Taking breath and knowing that you're okay. Turning off your brain, right? So the other thing that I want to say about conquering the fear is that when you're thinking about a leap of faith, right? It's this huge leap of faith. I'm going to move to Italy. But actually, it's like a series of steps. It's a series of tasks. And if you break it down into little tasks that you can handle, that you can take step by step by step, it's easy to conquer them, right? You're just checking them off. Okay, book my ticket to Italy. And actually, I have a book here in my bag today that has the checklist that I created 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, when I went to Italy. I still have that book. But it's about those checklists of things that you need to do. So if there's something that's so big to you that it's scaring you, break it down into small steps. Okay, how can I just do one thing at a time and make it through? Forward motion, right? I'm just taking one step forward. So here I was, I went on my trip, right? And I took my leap of faith and I went to Italy. And you think that everything's gonna be great, right? No. So my flight to London, great. Connecting flight, canceled. I didn't hook my phone up in Italy. So I didn't have a way to call the family who was driving an hour from the small town that they lived in to the Rome airport to pick me up. I didn't have a way to get in touch with them and tell them my flight's canceled. Oh, and by the way, can I tell you, I've never been abroad by myself before, or been abroad. And I've never traveled with a backpack. And I'm thinking, what did I just do? Oh my God, what am I gonna do? And there was an angel that came in the line. She was staying next to me, she helped me. She said, okay, let's just go through this line. Let's, figure out how to get on another flight. And so I stayed in a hotel overnight and got the next flight the next morning. But when I contacted the family, they could no longer pick me up the next day. I had to take a bus. So I was like, okay. They gave me pretty good instructions. Now, mind you, I still don't speak Italian. I had taken lessons, but it was all about memorizing, and I was so afraid, and I just could not speak the language. I just couldn't do it, right? So I get to the Rome airport, and I get to the bus, and I get on the bus, and I'm like, okay, it's almost like I had a sign, hanging around my neck, like, take me here to this location. And people were taking me there. Well, the bus broke down. Midway through. No one on the bus spoke English. I'm like, what is going on? I made it. I made it eventually. It was crazy, but I made it. And the family picked me up at the bus station hours after I was supposed to meet them there. So who knows what they were doing for a couple hours in the car. And I got to their house, and they were a sweet family. But you know what? I wasn't meant to be there. So here I am now at this family's house, and I was supposed to be there for 9 months as their au pair. And I can't do it. It was 6 weeks into my trip, and I was having panic attacks. And I was in this town, this small town, and no one spoke English, and I wasn't learning the language, and I couldn't even really travel. And I was thinking, what am I doing here? This is not what I had imagined when I was on the floor in my kitchen, right? Moving to Italy. So here's the other part of the story. I was faced with another decision. I could go home after 6 weeks and be sad about it and go, okay, I couldn't cut it, right? Or I could take another leap. I had found a job that was in Sicily, working at a hostel for free stay, in exchange for free stay. And, all I had known about Sicily was like mafia, right? All the movies that we watch here, it's like, Sicily is bad. I didn't even know anything about it, right? But I asked a couple people and they said, no, Sicily's beautiful. And so I thought, okay, I can either go home or I can try this. And if that doesn't work, then I can go home. So that was my plan, was to take another leap. And it's funny because like the second the dad from the family I was staying with, the second he dropped me off at this bus stop with all my stuff around me, I'm just like standing among all these Italians that are looking at me like, who is this chick with all this baggage with her? And yeah, there was probably a lot of baggage I was carrying too. And you know, they weren't used to seeing someone like that in that area. But from that moment, I felt lighter. Yeah, okay. And my flight went smoothly, and I found the bus I was supposed to take to the hostel, and the hostel owner was there, and I made it, and everything was perfect, and I was like, okay, I'm in flow now. This is where I'm supposed to be. So it was that second leap that led me to me. I found myself in Sicily, on the beach that was right by my hostel, that I walked to every day. I sat on that beach every day and I meditated and I searched my soul and I found me. And I found my purpose. And it's because of that second leap. So, you have to know sometimes it's not one leap, or two, or maybe 15. That'll get you to your end goal. It's all of them. And I look back today and I've taken more leaps since then, some bigger than others. And I'm so thankful that I took those 2 leaps, because I'm here today with all of you, and I'm living my purpose, I'm living my passion, and I'm taking one step forward to continue that journey. And I hope that after today, after hearing me speak today, that you feel empowered to take a leap in your life that maybe you've been fearful of, to conquer that fear, and to know that it's when you face those moments of fear that you grow the most. And you gain courage, and you gain yourself in the process. And you know what? You're an inspiration to other people, because other people will watch you and they'll go, yeah, they did it. They were courageous enough to do it. I can do it. So you become an inspiration. You spread that to other people. So I hope today that you're able to conquer that fear and take those steps because of maybe one tool or maybe my story. And I thank you so much for listening.